Doing okay? So a year ago, I was sleeping in that room over there. We come out of class, my friend and I, and there's soot and cinders in the air and ashes, and I think, got to go up there and see what it is. And so we make our way to where I live in Upper Ojai, and the police have a roadblock, and they don't want to let me in. And I'm like, come on, man, let me in. I want to get my stuff. And so they let us in. They said, you get in and out, and don't get in anybody's way, And so I make up my mind, we're going in and out 10 minutes. Because it's not just my life. I should have dropped my friend off at her house, but she wanted to go. And so it's not just my life. So we're going up this hill, and kind of got a Beirut feel to it, And you can see that the fire is right on the other side of 150, and I don't know if you know about Sulphur Mountain, but it's like got a lot of oil kind of seeping out of the mountain, and I'm thinking, okay, once the fire hits that, it's going to be really fast, And so we drive up the hill and the mountain, and we get to the top, and we go in the house, and I grab my backpack, which has my thumb drive and the family photos and the important papers, and I throw together a suitcase, and my friend Pam, she's like, let's get your computer, and I'm like, insurance will get it, and let's get your guitar, and I'm like, insurance will get it, because I know if I get the computer and the guitar, I'm going to want the Tibetan bell, and I'm going to want that book my wife gave me, and then I'm going to want all the books, and what about the art, and we're going to be up there for hours, so I don't have a lot of stuff, but, as the years have unfolded, and I keep remembering, that's gone, I realize, really, even if you don't have a lot of stuff, it's a lot of stuff. And so we're in and out in 10 minutes, and then I call Reverend Bonnie. I say, it's okay if I sleep in the church, and she says, yeah, stay in the church. And so I come here with my suitcase and my backpack, and I'm sleeping in a little practitioner's counseling room in there. And my friend Rick he's sleeping on the other couch with his little dog. He lives across the street, but he thought it'd be best to sleep here, because when you step out on the ramp, the fire's right there, and when you step on that ramp, the fire's right there. That hotel thing up there, the Hawaiian, it was like, it's gone, And the building is really smoky, and we're thinking, we probably shouldn't stay here. And we both agreed that we probably shouldn't stay there, but we did. We stayed anyways, and I finally got to sleep, and I woke up at, sunrise, maybe it was 4 or 5, something like that, whatever that is, and I guess it's 5-ish. And the gray light is beginning to come, and I'm looking at my phone, and there's this map, and you can see the line, and there's where I think my cabin is on this map, and there's the line right there, and they update the map every several hours. They don't update it like in real time. They just like every several. So I have no idea what's going on up that hill, And my phone is blowing up. Like people are emailing me and calling me and texting me. Like I had no idea. Hundreds of people, And like 60 people said, "Do you need a place to stay?" And I had no idea. And then the city's starting to come to life a little bit, and you can hear the swooshing. You can hear the highway, and I hear this little tiny bird. And it's one of the great moments of my life. My cabin on the mountain is in the wildfires. The friend is sending love. The swooshing of distant traffic. the chirping of a tiny bird. My cabin on the mountain is in the wildfires. The friend is sending love. The swooshing of distant traffic and the chirping of a tiny bird. So naturally, I have to write this down and post it on Facebook. I didn't even put a photograph, I just... And 300 people responded. And they're like, oh my God, that's terrible. That's horrible. Do you need a place to stay? Are you okay? And I'm like, wait. Don't forget about the tiny bird. The friend is sending love. The chirping of a tiny bird. I know this sounds insane, but whatever it takes to get there, it's worth it. And several days later, the fire was, kind of subsided up there, and I drove up there to see it. And I was on my way to help somebody evacuate again, because somebody had to evacuate for the second time, and that got taken care of somehow. And then I drive to see my place, and the sun is going down, starting to get dark. So I get out with a flashlight and I walk around the house where it used to be, and it's all this ash, And there's things that fell out of the house, and I find this crystal that my friend Lita gave me. It was a quartz crystal. It was from Brazil, John of God. And it used to be kind of a golden color, and now it's black. And I don't mean soot. The crystal is black. And pick it up, and it just falls apart like sand. And I go, it's 1,000 degrees. We're talking about 1,000 degrees here. That's what was happening here, 1,000 degrees. And, I've been tripping. I've been thinking, wow, there was a fire hose. You could have stayed. You could have fought. You should have grabbed that Tibetan bowl. You should have grabbed that book. You should, No, it was 1,000 degrees. Act of God. Let it go. Move on. What's next? Very liberating. And people are talking about, wow, you lost everything, and it's like, no. And then people are like, well, you got insurance, you can, buy more stuff. And I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? You understand? What if we brought, that love that you had for someone where you knew, past all doubt, that you would give your life for them? What if we brought that to everything? Well, it would be scandalous and inappropriate. So what? Okay, speaking of inappropriate, I'm going to call up my friend, Reverend Bonnie Rose. You got everything you need? Okay. You want to tell them about Ishq and Ishqala Mabud?
Sure. So Brock has asked me to talk about Ishq. It's one of the ways that Brock and I often will greet each other. We'll say Ishqallah to each other. And Ishq is crazy-ass love. It's just out of control love. My favorite story about when Brock's house burnt up was, sorry, it's not funny, was when we were going up the mountains. when it was sort of safe to go up Sulphur Mountain, and the map wasn't looking good, and I just said to him, let's just go up and see if it's still there. So we did. And we were going up the mountain, and it was Beirut light, like he said, and there were little fires everywhere, and lines down, and trees burning, and whatnot. But we kept driving because we really wanted to see it. And we got to a place where there was a wire across the road, and another car came up just as we came up to it, and we were facing each other. And we got out of our cars, and I happened to know the guy in the car. He's a surveyor who works up there in Sulphur Mountain sometimes. And he said, "Oh, great, you're here. Here's what you do. You guys stand on that wire, and I'll drive over it. And then I'll stand on the wire, and you drive over it." And we looked at each other, and I said to him, "You go first." And there was such joy in that, there was such joy in a moment that could be considered tragic. He lived, by the way, we all lived. But in going up to see Brock's house, which was, a pile of rubble, and then coming back down the mountain, and I said, we're going to go to lunch, and he was asking me, well, I said something like, I'll pay for it, and he's insisting that he pays. I'm like, no, this is annual my house burned down day. You get a free lunch. So all of that is ishq to me. It's all this crazy joy, that's ridiculous joy and love for absolutely no reason. I was thinking today about how to explain what ishq was, and oddly I thought of the ending of Some Like It Hot. Have you seen that movie? Where, who's the actor? Jack Lemmon, right? Yeah, Jack Lemmon is dressed like a woman, and this old billionaire falls in love with him, millionaire, whatever. And at the end, Jack Lemmon is trying to tell him why they're not going to be a good pair, and he says, I'm stubborn, and I'm this, and I'm that. And finally he takes off his wig, and he says, I'm a man. And and the old billionaire says, nobody's perfect. And that's ishq too. That's just crazy love, And ishq Allah, mubad ilah, is often translated as God is love, lover, and beloved. And so often we think of that as our love for God, but I think it's also God's love for us, or love's love for us. So it's the action of love, it's the object of love, it's being the beloved, it's all of those things that are beyond words, but perhaps not beyond song. So let's go ahead and try it.
Ishq Allah, Ishq Allah, Ma'bud, Ma'bud Allah, Ma'bud, Ma'bud Allah, Ishq Allah, Ishq Allah, Ishkala.
Ishkala.
Well, it is Christmas time. And I have a lot of events going on this month, so I'm just adrift in time. I was convinced that today was the 23rd for days. I would look at my calendar, and my mind would just, I'm just lost from time. But it is Christmas time, and my friend Pamela and I, we every year, we've been doing this for 3 years, we buy scarves, and we take them out and we give them to people on the street. And we did that last night. And it's in this tradition where on my wife's last Christmas, I got her in the wheelchair, in the car, and got her to the family's house and got her up the stairs with the wheelchair, and there was all his family there, and they were really glad to see her. And they had a Secret Santa deal, where you draw a name, and you're only supposed to get a present for that one person, but everybody gave a present to both of us. And so he ended up with a great number of hats and scarves and gloves, which we didn't really need. So then we went home, and it was good. It was a good Christmas. And but in the morning she couldn't remember it because of chemo and whatnot. And it's called chemo fog. And it was super sad. And then we realized, hey, we have all these gloves and these scarves and these hats, and we could go down to the pier and we could give them to people who actually need this stuff. And so we went down to the pier, and it was very cold. It was very cold, and Annelle stayed in the car, and I was her servant monkey, and I ran down the Strand, and I gave scarves and, gloves and scarves and hats to people, but there weren't that many people, so I came back. I still had some stuff, And she goes, "Why do you still have that stuff?" And I go, "Well, because I gave it to everybody who was there." And she goes, "So why don't you give what is left to somebody, and then they can be Santa Claus?" Such a great idea. So I run down the Strand again. It's freezing cold, and in the garage, in the basement of the garage, right behind the restrooms there, down by the pier, there's this guy in a wheelchair, and he's there all alone. And I guess he's waiting for some friends. And I say, my wife wants me to give these to you so that you can have the experience of giving them to your friends. And he goes, "Tell your wife, thank you so much." It was a wonderful Christmas. So every year, my friend Pamela and I, we buy scarves. And Pamela, we buy them at the thrift store down on Main Street. And then Pamela launders them, and they look wonderful. I mean, it's really kind of amazing what hot water can do. I would certainly live in a cave, but I like hot water. And so last night, we had 20 scarves, beautiful scarves. And we walked down Main Street, and then we walked back up Main Street, and we gave them all away except one. It's really wonderful. They say that the greatest of Sufis is Jesus, because at the heart of Jesus there is no Jesus. At the heart of Jesus there is no Jesus. Okay, so Allah is the name of God in Aramaic. It's the name of God that Jesus used. It's very much related to Eloha in Hebrew and Allah in Arabic. So we should probably fight about that. I really promised myself I wasn't going to be snarky tonight. But Allah is the name of God. And one of the wonderful translators, this man named Klotz, he says the way to understand this word, the way to really interpret this word is that it means the one that lives and breathes through all beings. Allah, the one that lives and breathes through all beings. And Jesus' name is Yeshua. And Yehu or Yahweh means God. And Shua means saves. Jesus' name means God saves. That deliverance is of the divine. Amen. Allah. Allah. Amen. Allah. Amen. Allah. Amen. Allah.
Amen. Allah. Amen. Allah. Amen. Allah. Amen. Allah.
Amen. Yeshua, Yeshua. Amen. Yeshua. Amen. Yeshua. Yeshua. Amen, Yeshua. Amen.
Amen. Yeshua. Yeshua. Amen. Yeshua. Amen. Yeshua. Yeshua. Amen. Yeshua. Yeshua. Amen.
Verily, verily, the one that is all, the one that lives and breathes through all beings. Verily, verily, God saves.